Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Border Battle Show. On Sunday, it was a big night for kickers as Packers-Lions, coming down to the wire, took a 57-yard field goal from Packers kicker Mason Crosby to make the game a two-score game and put the Packers over the edge. Packers get the W, all thanks to our kicking. How'd the Vikings game go, Tim?
So you know the thing that the Vikings do where their kickers inexplicably just suck?
No, I've never recalled this happening once.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, we have a long history of it. And that happened again.
Yeah.
Dan Bailey, after a kind of touch-and-go game against the Jaguars where he missed some, made some, it was not great. People are a little worried. He decided to calm everybody's fears, let everyone know.
I think he set the record
sucked.
straight.
Yeah, he set the record straight. He just sucks.
Isn't he like the 9th most accurate kicker in
Something like
NFL
that.
history?
He's a top 10 NFL kicker.
NFL history.
Yeah. He was great for the Cowboys. But,
it's a Vikings curse.
Yeah, for sure.
You will always suck. You would see it at the stadium too. Like it's the air. I think it's the area. Like something happened where US Bank Stadium is built, or something with the team, because you'll see it. Like even going to
the Metrodome days.
Well, yeah, at the Metrodome, I would go to the bathroom and you'd see in the urinal, and just everyone misses wide to the left, wide to the right. It's a curse.
Yeah, that's why they had troughs at the Metrodome.
It's a Minneapolis curse.
Yeah, you know what? It's really weird. I'm just thinking of this. It feels the exact same way I feel every time I see those kicking failures. It's the exact same feeling watching the Twins in the playoffs. It's that feeling of like, oh no, here we go again. Mm-hmm. There's nothing we can do to change this. How does this even happen?
Yep.
And that's the thought process.
It's like watching a comedian up on stage that sucks. You know, when they're just bombing and you feel awful for them, and you just know the next joke's not going to work.
Yeah.
That was that game with Bailey.
It's dead on arrival.
I know the next kick's not going in.
Yeah.
It was horrible.
And to compound on it, if we want to go right into the Vikings game.
Well, yeah, why not? Let's just
That was a very winnable game for the Vikings. At no point did it feel like we were losing, at least until I gave up at halftime. Did it feel like we were losing?
Uh-huh.
And we had the majority of the game. We had over 39 minutes of possession in that game.
Right. And
it looked, and every drive looked like we were just in control. Everything was good. And then we get to the red zone and stall.
Yeah, and then the field goal would be missed.
Yeah, it was rough.
Yeah. And especially in such an important game for the Vikings, too.
Yeah.
Like, you're going up against a playoff team. This is for your playoff life. Like, the Vikings were in a playoff spot. You control your own destiny at that point. You win out. You're in. You're good.
Basically. Well, even if you just win that game, because then you flip seeds with the Buccaneers.
Yes.
So then your playoff positioning is very, very secure for the most part. Unless you go and lose, you'd have to lose to one of the Bears or Lions.
Which is hard to do.
Right.
Packers haven't done that in a really long time.
The Bears have a hard time losing. They have a hard time losing to one another when they play each other.
Yes.
So it's,
They actually invite the other team to do it first before doing it themselves.
Yeah, a proud NFC North tradition.
Yeah.
Except for the Packers.
Except the Packers. We take it and we just secure victory.
But,
it's great. Just what is wrong with the Vikings? Honestly, though.
It's a couple of things. I mean, that game, really the only thing that we did wrong was the kicking.
Yes. Well,
there were a couple of other things, but that was the main thing. I mean, Cousins did get sacked a lot.
Yes.
But, let me paint a picture for you, all right?
Yeah.
If Dan Bailey made all his kicks, that's 23 points. Or if he misses the 54-yarder, which is we'll say that's a fair miss, right? So it's 20 points, okay? Then you take away the 75-yard touchdown. The only reason I'm taking that away is because other than that play, that just came out of nowhere. A lot of the game, they didn't look like that team, the Buccaneers. But then there's that one play. You take that away, then we win 2019.
Guys, if you take away all the plays where the Vikings sucked, where things didn't go well for them. So basically every special teams play, every play where Tom Brady bombed it deep to one of his wide receivers, or any time that the Vikings turned the ball over or sucked in any way, if you remove all that, more than half the game, they're great. They're a great football team. They're going to win the Super Bowl. No, that's not how football works, Tim.
Listen, I didn't take
Do you
away
know,
every play.
Do you know why they kick the field goals instead of just if you get within like what would they say 50 yards you just get 3 points?
I understand there's a margin of error. My point is that the problems are very isolated, right? If you had a kicker who made those kicks, that's one thing, that's one fix. That's my point.
Yes.
So,
but what about like the pass interference play? Because that's the same thing. Right before half, pass interference play. Tampa Bay is just trying to bomb it deep in the end zone. Hail Mary attempt before halftime. Vikings guy pass interference in the end zone gives Tampa Bay the ball at the 1 with an additional play to kick the field goal. That's a literal one thing that gave them 3 points for free, unless it was the Vikings, because then it's not free points. But for Tampa Bay, that was free points.
Yeah, but do you think that the Vikings did anything wrong on that play? I mean, we did pass.
Well, yeah, the guy committed pass interference.
Okay.
Don't do that.
Right. So our defense isn't great, but like that's a penalty thing. That's not like a bad defense thing. Like that's not something you're not going to go like, hey, I want defenders that do less penalties.
But
maybe
that guy was a linebacker, like that probably shouldn't have been in that position.
Yeah,
on that play.
Scheming.
Yeah. So the Vikings suck.
No, they don't suck. They absolutely. If you really want me to go down, you're calling a team that's beat the Packers a team that sucks.
Flukes happen. Like 15 in 1 year, we lost to the Chiefs in a very fluky 17-3 game. Things happen. Okay, sometimes the Packers lose to the Vikings.
That's fair.
That's our one loss against division rivals in the last 3 years.
That's fair. Okay, that's very fair that the Packers beat the Vikings, right?
Yeah.
But would you not agree that the Vikings outplayed the Buccaneers in that game, generally speaking?
For parts of it, I'm sure that game was a very just very frustrating game to watch as a Vikings fan because the first half, the Vikings dominated. It felt like they were they're just
in control,
dominating this game. Dalvin Cook's running really well. The passing game is actually doing quite well. They just weren't coming away with points. So much so that Tampa Bay went into half with a lead.
Yeah.
Even though it felt like the Vikings were playing better than them. But at the end of the day, scoreboard is still scoreboard. You got beat in the first half. Like you can, you can't deny that. That's just a fact.
Okay. Let me rephrase the question.
Yeah.
Did the Vikings play the Buccaneers better than the Packers did?
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now there's more than one example of situations where the Vikings have done the same thing. In one case, we were on the same field together. In one case, we played the same good opponent, and we outplayed them. So you can't just throw out the Vikings as a bad team.
What about the first time we played you guys?
Hey, you're a good team. I'm not saying you're a bad team. That doesn't work.
I'm saying the Vikings are a bad team, though. They are. You don't.
Are they worse than the Cardinals though?
Are they worse than the Cardinals? Well, that is the big question because that's who you're fighting for a playoff spot.
I suppose it doesn't matter if we're a good team or a bad team. It just matters that we're better than the Cardinals.
Yes.
At the end of the year, and I think against all the national sports media, the Vikings will still be the 7th seed.
Really?
Yes.
We'll get into that later, though.
Okay.
I want to hear your theory for how the Vikings still make the playoffs. Because what I'm seeing, most people they're writing them off. They're done. Yes. They're done for the year, and I am inclined to believe that. So I'm interested to hear what you say. Let's shift over to the Packers game.
Okay.
For a little bit, not a whole lot to talk about here. As you guys know, the Packers are good. They're now the 1 seed, which is great. It's where we belong. So. The Saints have finally lost a game. Of course, it was the Eagles. Makes perfect sense. Yeah. Packers literally just destroyed them, and then they come back the next week and beat the Saints.
Jalen Hurts. That's all I have to say about that game.
Who knows? Yeah, I think it's just a thing. If you are the backup to Carson Wentz, you are destined for greatness.
Well, see, okay, just one little note.
Mm-hmm.
I think that Doug Peterson deserves more credit. I think it was more Carson Wentz's fault than Doug Peterson's. Because a lot of people were calling for Doug Peterson's head. And I don't think that was fair because I think he's a good coach.
I don't know.
But that's all I have to say.
I think there's a lot of fault to go around there. I don't think the Eagles are good. I don't think this is the start of their new dynasty. They're not winning the Super Bowl this year. They're not making the playoffs this year. But I think we're seeing that the Packers, as far as, you can look at where the Packers' big wins this year. We got a win over the Saints. That's probably our best win of the year. But then we've lost to a lot of the other good teams that we played. Mm-hmm. I still think you got to look at what the Packers have done and put them as the best team in the NFC. We're just so consistent. Like right now, we're kind of beating up on bad teams. I mean, the Lions aren't a bad team. They're right on the cusp of a playoff spot. They're in the exact same boat as the Vikings. I would say they're on the same tier as well. I know that hurts your poor little soul, Tim.
There's no way. There's no way. And
they're on
also,
the
they have
same
the worst record. Worst record.
Barely.
Yeah.
They're essentially the same team.
So now they're 2 games out of the playoffs with 3 to play. It's not the same.
Okay. You see what I'm saying, though.
I see what you're saying, yes.
The Packers are so incredibly consistent with how they're beating these teams, though.
Yep.
The game, I picked the Packers to win and cover. It was a 7.5-point spread. They ended up winning by 7. Unfortunate. Like that's why they, that's why they put a half point on it.
Yep.
I got there. But it was just a pretty formulaic game, especially for the Packers offense. At this point, you have to look at the Packers as the best offense in the league. Aaron Rodgers, just ridiculous once again. He completed 26 of 30.
In the league? Or in the NFC?
In the league. Best offense.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No. Have you seen the Kansas City Chiefs?
Yeah. I saw a guy throw 3 picks.
That's true.
Has Aaron Rodgers thrown 3 picks all year in his career? I don't even think he's thrown 3 picks in his career yet.
No, though, dude. Like, here's the thing.
This offense is unstoppable.
They make the fewest mistakes.
Other than the Tampa Bay game.
They don't make a right.
Okay.
Yeah, the Packers don't make
every other good offense that you can name in the NFL has had 2 games where they've absolutely done nothing.
Right. They don't make as many mistakes.
The Packers have 1 game. The Packers have the Tampa Bay game, and that is it. Every other game, it's been 30-plus points, 3 Aaron Rodgers touchdowns, and just they do whatever they want. Our defense sometimes doesn't do so hot, but our offense at this point is so consistent, it will give you 30 points every game.
The Packers have the highest floor of any offense in the league. I will give you that. They have the highest floor, but they do not have the highest ceiling. The Chiefs far and away.
I'll hit you with some stats right now, Tim, as far as the Packers offense. And it is between Kansas City and Green Bay as far as best offenses, and it's not really close. Right now, Kansas City slight edge in yards per game, and it is. Okay. I will admit it's a big edge. They're averaging 429 yards a game compared to the Packers 397.
Sounds like a lot.
So that's almost 30 more yards a game. But yards, that's what the Vikings get. That doesn't put points on the board. You want points on the board, and you get points by getting touchdowns and by kicking field goals. And you have to make the field goals.
Ouch.
The Packers do a lot of that, and therefore they lead the NFL in scoring offense with 410. The Kansas City Chiefs, which you argue have a better offense, 403.
Okay, that's one touchdown.
Yeah.
That's 1 touchdown. You're really going to say they're a better offense because of 1 touchdown. 1 touchdown, and they're averaging like 30 yards.
Tim, what is the goal of football? Touchdowns.
Right, I know.
Packers,
I understand
Packers
what
are
you're
more
saying.
Okay.
I'm saying
which offense is more
successful?
Let's change the definitions. Which offense is more successful? Ooh, it's got to be the Packers. Best offense in the league.
No,
more successful.
Which offense is more successful? In other words, which offense outscores their opponents more often? That's the Chiefs. They're 12-1. Easy. Done. Open and shut.
But that depends on your defense. The Packers have a horrible defense.
It doesn't depend on your defense.
Horrible's a little rough, but it's not a good defense.
It's not relying on your defense. It's just being able to outscore what the defense gives you.
Okay.
Both have good offenses.
For the Packers to outscore a team by 30, we'd have to put up 50. Like, that's just...
that may be... Yeah, that's true. That's probably true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think the Chiefs are capable of, like, beating a team by 30 and scoring,
I think you should accept the fact
points.
that we're both unbreakably biased.
Yes.
And I will admit that they're the best offense in the NFC, but I won't give you the NFL, all right? So,
I don't think you watch enough of the Packers games.
No.
Like, that's the issue. You need to just... If you watched... And this was very apparent in the Lions game. If you just watch how formulaic, how it just seems like a system. Like, it seems like you're watching a Belichick team as far as just it just clicks. It just snaps. Everyone knows what they're doing, and the offense just runs super smooth. It's great to watch.
Really good
LaFleur is great at that, and it helps that you have Aaron Rodgers. We also have Devontae Adams. We have the best wide receiver in the NFL right now, and we have a very talented running back tandem that can compete with any running back duo in the league. Like, I
will grant you that
some would say we have the best offensive line in the league too.
Yeah, I will grant you your running back tandem is better than Hilaire and Bell.
I would say.
Yeah, Hilaire's been good, but Jones has been way better, and Bell's just a has-been.
Yeah, I agree. So yeah, that's pretty much all I got on the Packers game. Yeah. And then Mason Crosby, 57-yarder. To just to show the Vikings what they're missing out on.
Must
what
nice
what a kicker can
have a kicker
give you.
So consistent that you've had him for 13 years.
Yeah, we have had him for 13 years, and he's had some woes of his own.
He has.
Not Vikings woes, not quite that level, but 2 years ago in 2018 against the Lions, actually. In the Lions home stadium where he just hit that 57-yarder, he missed 4 field goals in a game and an extra point. That's 5 missed kicks. That's worse than Dan Bailey's performance. But we held on to him because we have faith in our system and in our guys and in our organization. Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
We'll see what he does next week.
Yeah. Well, and I think that Bailey's the kind of guy you can't give up on. Like, to any Vikings fan who is saying to drop Bailey right now, who are you going to pick up?
Yeah, okay. Vikings kickers in the span that the Packers have had Mason Crosby.
Yep.
Okay. These are who you could have instead of Dan Bailey.
Right.
You had Ryan Longwell. That was a while ago.
Yeah.
Mason Crosby has been around a while. Blair Walsh. Fond memories, I'm sure, for all of you.
I'll remind you, he could nail long distance field goals like nobody's business, but he had weird things going on in those close ones.
Yeah.
It was weird.
Yeah. Good times, though. I enjoyed him. Kai Forbath.
Good field goal. Not great on the PATs.
Yeah, it seemed like you missed a few of those.
Yeah.
Daniel Carlson.
One game.
Yeah.
One epic.
And what a game it was.
Yeah. Wasn't that a 4th round pick we used on him?
I think so.
I think we used a 4th round pick on him. We gave him one game.
Pick. Yep.
We gave him one game and gave up on him. And now he's kicking it good for the Raiders, I think.
Pretty solid.
Yeah.
And then Dan Bailey.
Yep. Who we still have. And
9th most accurate kicker.
Yep. You gotta hold on to him. You just have to.
I think you do.
Because there's not the only.
You're not going to get anyone better.
No, you could get Vinatieri, but he's so old. I wouldn't risk it.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't have a lot of leg strength anymore. He might be accurate, but his leg strength's dropped in the last couple of years.
Yeah. Well, enough about kickers. They're irrelevant players that only matter if they suck.
Yeah.
So you hear about Vikings ones a lot. Although I was looking into the history of I was learning more about the AFL. NFL merger and how the AFL kind of brought kicking.
Oh, really?
Way more into prominence because I think the Browns were like the first team that had like a really good kicker that was like he was booting it in from 40, 50.
Yeah.
And no other teams were even doing that. It was just, you punt it from there. So they would just come in, score a bunch of field goals on you, and they dominated. That could be totally wrong. I'm a young kid. Please have mercy.
I was listening to PA on K-Fan a couple days ago. Maybe that was yesterday. Yeah, I think that was yesterday. And they were talking about a kicker who won MVP back in the day.
Really?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I think he played for the Packers.
Wow.
And then he got caught up in some gambling stuff.
Sounds like a Wisconsinite.
He was like shagging kicks to win bets.
Whatever you got to do to make your money. The NFL didn't pay that much back then.
Yeah, no, that's what they were saying. They were just he's probably making better on the bets than he was his salary, especially as a kicker back then.
Yeah. So speaking of bad bets to make, Tim.
Don't bet on the Cardinals.
Really?
Yeah.
I just put a bunch of money down on the Cardinals.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Why? They're going to make the playoffs.
Because 3 things. They have a tougher schedule. As far as I know, the Vikings have the tiebreaker. I'd need to fact check that. And if I'm wrong, then maybe go bet on the Cardinals because this hinges on the Vikings still having the tiebreaker.
You would think someone would want to know that before betting a bunch of money. How much did you put on the Vikings?
And third, the Vikings will beat the Saints. That's why. That's what it comes down to, really.
You're going to beat the Saints.
Yeah.
Well, you need to beat the Saints.
Right, we do. So right now we're 6-7. Cardinals are 7-6, right?
Yes.
Cardinals finish out the year. Their last game is in Los Angeles against the Rams, which I think they lose. Their other 2 games are at home, but they face the Eagles and 49ers, which they should be favored in, but I don't think those are gimme wins either. So I think it's very likely they end up 9-7.
Okay, so this was as of last week.
Yes.
They haven't played each other. So next tiebreaker is conference record, and this was before the games last week.
Yep.
They were both 4-4.
Yep.
And then the next tiebreaker after that, if they're tied, would be common games, which the Minnesota does have a better record because they have both played Carolina, Detroit, and Dallas, and Minnesota's 2-1 against those teams, while Arizona is 1-2.
So in this scenario, we wouldn't face any more common opponents.
Yep.
And we would end up with the same conference record because in order for us to even out, because it's all in conference games.
Yep.
So we would have the tiebreaker. So I think they lose to the Rams, and then they'll be 9-7, right? And I think we beat the Saints. Even though we're in New Orleans, I think we beat them for one of two reasons. Either because we're facing Taysom Hill, and I think that that's a matchup we can exploit.
The Eagles did it.
Yeah, the Eagles did it, and we're better than the Eagles. Like, come on.
Well,
We're better than the Eagles. We have a better quarterback than the Eagles.
well,
Yes, we do.
okay.
And either that or it'll be Drew Brees, and he's just going to be so old and hobbled by the time he gets back because they're probably going to rush him back, and then we'll just sack him a million times or something.
Who on your team will do that?
Cam Dantzler.
Yeah, see, in order to sack a quarterback, you need to have someone on your roster that can sack a quarterback. And all those players are injured on the Vikings.
Oh, yeah. Maybe not sacking. But I still think we beat the Saints because I just don't think they have a lot going. I mean, they do have Kamara and Thomas. They just have not looked sharp.
No, they haven't. If Breeze is back, this game is over. If Breeze is playing, don't watch the game.
Well.
Just go be with your families. Hug your loved ones.
It is on Christmas Day.
Oh.
Yeah.
Spend time with your family. Hug your loved ones. Give them a big Christmas present. Because the Vikings aren't winning that game.
I agree to disagree.
But
here's the thing. Here's what's crazy. Even if they do lose that game, there's still a good chance the Cardinals lose to either the Eagles or the 49ers. Both those teams are
those aren't
tough
gimme
opponents.
Those aren't gimme games.
Yeah. But once that happens, then we're 8-8, and then you get to scenarios where the Lions could be 8-8.
Yeah.
Or who else is around there?
The Bears.
The Eagles could be. No, the Eagles couldn't. But could the Eagles be 7-8-1 still? No, I think they've lost too many.
I don't know. Maybe they'd have
but
to
Giants
win out.
Could be 8-8.
Yeah.
But then the Cardinals have a tiebreaker there. But still. But once you get to 8-8, it's a lot. It's a mess. You don't want to get there.
The teams on the bubble in the NFC are, interestingly enough, the top 3 teams on the bubble are all NFC North teams.
Yep. Well, yeah, I suppose on the bubble because you're not including the Cardinals because they're in the picture.
They're in and will remain in.
Wrong. Speaking of being wrong, though.
Yeah, let's get to picks. We were actually pretty right. Both of us went 3-1. We had a little bit different. We had different picks.
Right.
I got the Packers covering wrong by half a point. So dumb. Otherwise, I would have had the perfect week. I picked the Vikings game correctly because who didn't see that coming? You didn't.
I did say the Vikings are going to lose repeatedly.
Yeah, you did.
I did see that coming. But it hurt because then
because if you would have made those field goals, they probably could have covered.
Yeah.
Yep. That is sad. But anyways, your record improves to, I believe, let me pull this up so I get it exactly correct. You are 21-12. I am 18-15. I'm only 3 games back. I can make up some ground this week because we have some, I think, pretty tough ones to call games. We got Bears at Vikings.
Yep.
Both these teams, same record, fighting for the playoff life.
Did the Bears win last week?
Yeah, I think.
Okay, I'll believe you.
Pretty sure they have the same record.
I thought the Bears had one more.
And Vikings are at home, and it's a minus 3-point spread. They're only giving you the home field.
Yeah,
how
it's
embarrassing.
Essentially a pick 'em with home field.
How embarrassing is that?
It is embarrassing, especially when you consider the fact that lest we forget, the Bears literally do not know how to play offense.
Yeah.
If you're talking about the Packers having the best offense, the Bears, I think, easily have the worst offense.
They're so bad. Yeah, both 6 and 7.
Okay, well, that's incredibly sad.
It's embarrassing. I agree.
Yes.
For the Bears.
What? Anyways, we will watch as the Vikings. They did it once. They did it in Soldier Field, which we don't do all that often.
Yeah.
We have a lot of issues in Soldier Field, so I lack no confidence in seeing us win this game and cover this game. So Vikings win, Vikings cover.
It's going to be a weird one. I do think the Vikings win. They need it. They want it. Like I don't even know. The Bears just aren't good. They can't score points. The Vikings offense is good enough that they just match up good against the Bears. Because their offense is good enough that even though the Bears defense is aight, they'll score points. And the Bears can't score points. Even though the Vikings defense is trash, unless you lose this game on special teams, the Vikings win this game. Special teams sucks for the Vikings, so they might find a way to do it. I would love a Bears style, like Devin Hester kick return touchdown, does it like 3 times in the game or something. I can see it.
He did it once already.
Patterson could do it. He could do it.
Yeah.
So unless that happens, Vikings win. I am picking Vikings win. Vikings cover.
Okay, see.
Because they are the better team. Yeah. I'm giving you a hard time saying you're basically the Lions and the Bears, which you are.
We did beat you, though. Unlike those other teams, we did beat you.
People looking back on this year, like 2 years from now, they'll remember election and COVID and other things.
Yes.
But then they will also remember that the Vikings were basically the same team as the Bears and the Lions, because you're going to finish the year with about the same record.
No.
Yes.
No. We have a way better quarterback than we are.
Than Matthew Stafford?
And Cousins just looked better than Stafford.
But he's also looked way worse. Remember when Cousins was leading the league in interceptions?
Yeah, and then we traded Yannick Ngakoue, and somehow that
magically helped Kirk
Maybe
Cousins,
we need to trade someone again to help Dan Bailey.
That's a thought. I would trade away.
Can we waive the trade deadline?
Yeah. Who else on your defense could you trade? Trade away Harrison Smith. Why not?
Kendricks,
just
man.
Go all in. Yeah. We gotta pick the Packers game.
Yeah.
Packers hosting the Carolina Panthers, who I believe have 4 wins on the year and no one cares.
Yeah.
Packers are playing for the number 1 seed. They're 8.5-point favorites at home. I'll pick first because it's easy. Packers win, Packers cover. I did this last week and I was wrong by half a point. They're even spreading it out more with 8.5. That is mean and cruel by Vegas, but I don't care. I'm picking it anyways.
I mean, I don't know, because I'm thinking about this, and I'm trying to remember if the Panthers have been blown out this year. The Panthers aren't a great team, but they're a team that will keep with you.
Yeah, they're a competitive team.
8.5 seems big.
It is quite. It's large.
You know what?
You're talking about the best team in the NFC.
You shouldn't be trying to convince me to change my pick if you believe in your pick. I'm gonna be a sporting picker, and I'm gonna say Panthers cover. So that way there's something at play. Because we're all picking the same. There's no
yeah, indubitably.
So,
good job.
Just throwing out 12-letter words.
Yeah, well, we'll see how it goes.
Yep. Do you think Larry Fitzgerald likes the Vikings enough to tank the Cardinals for us?
No.
Okay.
He's a diehard Cardinals fan.
Yeah, but he's a Minnesota native.
He also really wants to win a Super Bowl. Do you know how badly that man wants?
Is that why he never went to Minnesota?
Yeah. Larry Fitzgerald's drive to win a Super Bowl. And just he sees that and nothing else. It's more than all of the Vikings fandom combined. You guys have given up at this point. He hasn't. He still believes he can do it. The Vikings don't. Deep down, you guys know you can't.
Yeah, you might be right, actually.
I'm going to end the episode with that, too. Thanks for watching, guys. This has been the Border Battle Show. We'll see you guys next week.